Kia ora once again via Marere or Tonga.
Kia ora.
I understand you made a presentation at Te Waitangi today,
Yes.
and was well received.
Yes.
I just want you to possibly go over some of the points that you covered today, and that had held a lot of interest from the taumata, from the people that were in there.
Yes. The only point I wanted to make today was about our sovereignty and what sovereignty means. Now, the term of sovereignty that I brought to and put down on the floor inside, meaning that government doesn't own sovereignty or doesn't have sovereignty. The people of the land have sovereignty. I was responding to two questions that Kingi Taurua had asked October the 28th, 2015, and no one answered it. And I never got a chance to answer it then, so I got the opportunity this time. And I believe that I have fulfilled those two questions for him and answered it. And what I needed to explain to them was the first question. He asked, how do we get our sovereignty back? Question number one. And the second question was, and how do we apply our sovereign authority, if we can get it back? So I explained that it was, our laws are in our language, our God is in our language, our sovereignty is because of our language, and the most important thing for sovereign is the language. I believed that our people needed to hear what happened to our language, because I discovered and believe that through our language being put into recess, that we then lost sight of our God. And I know that we lost sight of our God because when they brought it out of recess, this is when we lost our God, when they brought it out of recess and introduced a new language to us. That language that they introduced to us was A-E-I-O-U. And we have been speaking A-E-I-O-U ever since they represented it to us. Now, I knew that our language is a living, breathing, walking, talking language because we didn't have a written language before the 18th century. So it was revealed to me, and it wasn't my own thoughts, but revealed to me was the language itself, A-E-I-O-U. I discovered that A-E-I-O-U is man-made language, the English language, A-E-I-O-U. When our language was brought out of recess, it was A-E-I-O-U. A-E-I-O-U are just vowels, soft vowels. I knew there's more to our language than just that. And then you looked at the Bible and discovered that it was through the Bible that I'm going to be revealed this truth. So I looked at A-E-I-O-U and I thought, okay, let's start with that. The Bible says that I am a jealous God, therefore I must come first in your life. When I looked at A-E-I-O-U, I couldn't see God first, I saw A-E. And so I looked further at the language, and E-O was further down the line. So I thought, okay, well, let's try putting God first then. Like you said, I must come first in your life. So I put E-O first. And then I asked my husband if air was a word, could mean anything, just the letter air. And he says to me, depending on how I use it, yes, it could be a word. So he asked me, how are you using it? I said, could I say God is? And he said, yes, that's when air can represent time, is. And I said, so not yesterday, not tomorrow, just now. And he says, that's correct. And I said, so God is, that's what I've just said. He says, yes, that's correct. Which left two vowels, the U and the R. And I thought, ua. Okay, God is ua. No, that don't sound right to me. E-o, e, ua. And when as soon as I turned it around, O, I saw it. A-u means me, or you, or I. That's what O means. So when I said it quickly, e-o, e-o, I just finished saying, God is me. As soon as I said that, then I saw the whole picture and the truth of our language. I went, this is our language, because now I've just said 3 words in the 5 vowels that are the foundation of our language. And I thought, this has got to be it. This is our language. And I thought, okay, I've got to justify this. Eo. Like I said, God said, I must come first in your life. There's no yesterday and there's no tomorrow. There's only the now. So is, God is, not will be and gonna be and has been. No, is forever and ever. Amen. And then the O. The Bible also claims that I am everywhere all at once. I am omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient. Then I saw that light. He is in all things living. And therefore he is everywhere. God is everywhere all at once, because he is in all living things, including you and you and you and you and you. And I realised that e-o, e-o is our language. But then now it means more than that to us, because I know that our language is a special language. And it's not our language because we didn't create it. Therefore it has to be our sovereign Lord language, making it the sovereign language for all. Because it stands to reason for me that God wouldn't have made 2 languages so that mine would be better than the next one and his wouldn't be better than mine. So we had to have an equal start in life. This is how I feel and what I believed. We had to have an equal start in life, so it stands to reason for me that we could have only had 1 language. There's only 1 language and 1 sovereign language, and the native of the lands holds that language. Our language is, the sovereign language of the land is e-o, e-o. Now that isn't just our language now, that is the language universal, because it belongs to all native of the lands. I tested that, and I went up and tried and went to a store, to a food court where different nationalities were at the counters, and I asked each one, I gave them the same word and asked them what their word was. After the 3rd counter, I had the same word, just different consonants. That proved to me that the language was universal, because we all had the same word for. I chose the word for. In English that's spelled F-O-U-R. In our language it's spelled far, W-H-A, meaning for. The next counter said theirs was Shah, C-H-A. Where are you from? And he says to me, Cantalina, I think he said. I can't remember now, it's been about 10 years. And then the other next counter says their word for the word for was Tha, T-H-A, from Thailand. The next one says Fa, P-H-A, Pharaoh, Egypt. And so it showed me that the R, we all use the R for the word for. So that showed me that our language truly is universal. And now another revelation for our people is this. That being the case, The word Papatūānuku, meaning earth, means that we are the sovereign edict, because now our authority doesn't stop at the seabeds for sure. To take away the water, and Papatūānuku is the whole earth. Therefore, we are the mana whenua, our people, tangata whenua of Nutirani, hold the sovereign edict. And now I realise just how important and serious that is, because, like I said, your laws are in your language. I believe that Hillary Clinton knew this, because in the year 2004, roughly 2004 or 2005, she made a global declaration that she has officially made the language, English language, the official language for trading, for countries to trade between each other. In other words, you can only trade in the language of English. When I heard her say that, then that confirmed for me that we have the sovereign edict, because that puts their language at risk and at a language that we can now push aside because it isn't our language, and there's definitely not God's language. And so it was all confirmation for me about our language and who we are. Our identity is in our language, and our authority is in our language. So our authority is, we have the mana whenua, because Papatūānuku is our kupu. When I placed that down on the floor in the marae there, everybody was just so blown away, because everybody realised and saw it clear as. And I used the King James Bible to justify what I'd discovered. And that's all I wanted to put down at this stage in the marae, and it was received really well. And now it's now set for me and for our kaupapa, Tāwhiri Mātea. Now we are ready to prepare a new journey. And this new journey now is to take our language and take it from the top of the North Island down the west coast to the bottom of the south, and come back up the east, all the way back up the top, from marae to marae. A convoy taking our language all around the motu. And I believe that from marae to marae, then, with the explanation and discovery of our language, our people will turn around immediately. After that, it's going to be, we're going to need to make plans now to come in and wānanga about this, on how we are going to begin our new education of our ancient language.
Because as we all know, the language was stripped away from our people. Yes. And they were strapped and beaten for speaking at
Yes.
the schools by the English school teachers.
Yes.
In the early colonial years.
Yes.
My mother, who reached the age of 87, she remembers part of that, when they were encouraged to dob in their mates, even in the playground, if they were speaking te reo.
Yes.
So obviously they wanted to do away with that language early on. Yes. When they first came here after the 1840s.
Yes.
So and since the 80s, there's been a resurgence in the language once again.
Yes.
But obviously now we need to push it even harder.
Well, on presenting on that presentation, there was a kerfuffle in there over it, and the kerfuffle was, it was lunchtime, and it was about 2 hours late. So I had to stop there, but at least I got the main explanation out and on the floor. But what I wasn't expecting, that sitting in amongst that crowd was the teacher, was a person who holds that ancient knowledge. And I got, excuse me,